Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Chits and Cardboard. I'm John.
I'm Jeff.
And today we are bringing you our top 20 board games of all time.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere. Stay.
Stick around.
So before we start, quick caveats.
Yes.
We used Pub Meeple for this.
Yes, we did.
No campaign games.
No campaign games.
And we don't know each other's list.
Correct.
And with that, Jeffrey, number 20.
Number 20. Okay, so I am very bad at giving hints for this game, so that might give you a clue. Basically, this is either a solo or a cooperative game. This is one of my favorite games to play solo, also one of my favorite games to play at 2 players. You are playing as powerful entities against invaders that are coming to your lands. Yes, Spirit Island. Yeah.
Done.
No, just get right to it. So Spirit Island, it's one of the most beloved games that's ever been made, probably one of the best games ever made. It had to be in my top 30, my top 20. It's starting that off. You're going to be drafting your cards, becoming more and more powerful. You're going to be trying to protect the natives of your island homeland and repel all the invaders. There's so much asymmetry between the different players, between the different spirits that you're playing. This game always feels like you're absolutely going to get crushed right before if you succeed, because it is hard. You can lose at this game very easily, but you're going to feel like you're going to get crushed right before you absolutely wipe out everybody off the board and win the game. But Spirit Island, it's absolutely amazing. I know you enjoy this one as well.
Yeah, not this much.
Not as much as me.
I have issues with it, but fair enough.
That's fair. That's fair. The only issue I have with the game is the more players you add, it gets very quarterbacky sometimes, or like everybody starts deliberating a lot and planning out their turns.
And
it takes a long time to
exactly
play.
This, and what are you gonna do? And
Exactly. So yeah,
I also don't like how it goes from like I'm losing. Oh, I'm winning.
Not always though. It's a hard game.
I feel like
it's a hard game. You're not guaranteed to
you're
win
not guaranteed
this
to win, but
whatsoever.
if you do win, it will go from losing. Oh, we're winning.
Yes.
There's no there's no. It's just a steep hill drop off.
That's true. That's true. Like you ramp up very, very slowly. You feel like you're getting overwhelmed, which the tension in this game is one of the things that I absolutely love about it. And then you get to this point where you're super, super powerful. You and your friends are super powerful, and you just crush your enemies.
If you were to house rule that you can't communicate about what you're gonna do.
Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, Spirit Island,
good pick.
My first one in our top 20, and yeah, it's a fantastic game.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Mr. John.
My number 20
is
a, we'll call it an auctioning tile laying game.
Okay.
Basically, the way this game works is there's an auctioneer who sets the prices of all the tiles that people will be laying.
Okay.
And then all the other players buy the tiles off the auctioneer. And then after everyone buys the tiles, the auctioneer can spend their own money buying tiles.
Okay.
And then they place them into their castle in a certain order to score or close in rooms to score points. And that game is?
Castles of Mad King Ludwig?
It is.
Yes, I want to play this so bad.
This is a new one on my list. I hadn't played this before this year. I got the big Bezier Games deluxe edition of it. It's phenomenal.
I'm so excited to try it.
I tried this and I was like, yeah, I need to own this one.
Yeah.
I love that the person who's auctioning stuff off is setting the prices, because they want to set the price in a way that they don't want other people to buy what they want. So it has to be high enough, but they have to set everything else enough to like be able to afford what they actually want when it comes back around. As well as afford everything they want for the next 3 rounds or whatever until it comes back to them. It's really slick. The tile placement's really cool. You get bonuses for closing in certain colors of rooms, which I really like.
Nice.
It's really well thought out, and the production on this one is stellar. I don't think the production gives too much to the experience, so if you were to just get the base version of this new 2nd edition or whatever print they just did, you'd probably be fine.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to try this one.
Jeff, 19.
Okay, so 19 is one of my favorite one versus many, as well as hidden movement games.
Yeah, got it.
Yep, it involves drafting, and it's kind of medieval fantasy themed. And that game is? Beast.
Yeah, this fell off my list.
Beast is so good, though. I love playing this game, and I'm surprised how many friends that I've shown this game who have actually like really gotten into it and really enjoyed it. The artwork in this game is absolutely fantastic. The drafting is great. You're going to be wanting to take cards that you really, really want, but also try and like heavily deny your opponents, whether you're playing as the Beast or as the Hunters, what they're going to want.
The different beasts makes this super cool too, because it changes the game a lot.
I really want to get the expansion as well. The Shattered Isles, I think it's called.
Super cool.
Looks really, really, really
The
cool.
biggest issue I have with this game is I find the best play count is 2. And then one person is two-handing.
I find 3. I like 3.
I think the Beast has way more to do than the other 2 people at 3 players.
A little bit.
And
Not in
then
terms
everyone
of
just wants to
actions,
play
but-
the Beast.
True,
Right?
true.
If you're 1 versus 1 and one person's controlling 2 things, at least you feel like you're doing an even amount of stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right? So I sold my copy, full disclosure. I wanted to buy the acrylic set, but I
Yeah,
didn't get in on
yeah.
the Kickstarter fast enough. So I'm gonna have to see if I can hunt one down now in the aftermarket with Shattered Isles and
Oh,
stuff.
so you're gonna get it again, eh?
Yeah, I was planning on it. That's- yeah.
Beast is so good. It's fantastic. It's a favorite hidden move, and it's great. Yeah. Cool. All right. You're number 19, sir.
My number 19 is a cooperative game.
Okay.
It is a game where you are exploring various planets, fulfilling missions. This is a modular game. The game is a system, and then all the various planets slot into said system and
know what
provide
this is.
very different puzzles. The restricting factor, at least in all the planets I've played so far, is time, meaning you want to get the game done in whatever the game deems an acceptable amount of time.
Are these planets settled?
They are unsettled, actually, because that game is unsettled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Orange Nebula. I am an Orange Nebula fanboy. I love this game.
They're
So good.
Great.
Their
buy
writing
everything.
style is very awesome. It's funny.
Yep.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
the
comedy
first
in it.
mission is called Rumble in the Fungal.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bunch of stuff about like hallucinating and like snorting mushroom fumes and like spores clogging your lungs and like you can't breathe, but it's fine because you're high as a kite. It's great. Yeah, good game.
Yeah, Unsettled is great. And the thing is also, I've noticed that as they've been producing more planets that you're going to discover, and you can add those to your repertoire, they're not super expensive. So once you have the base game, you can always
each
add to
planet's
this,
like $30,
right?
and
Yeah.
the planet is 3 separate missions, and the missions aren't like it's like a
Totally replayable
not a campaign.
missions. Yeah.
And also, you'll know the story, but the way the deck gets shuffled and put out for the mission changes.
It's a different
every time.
puzzle every single time.
Totally different puzzle.
Yeah,
Like the
it's
way
really
you
cool.
get the solution is different. 100%.
It's great. It's a great system.
Unsettled.
Yeah.
All right,
Gotta
Jeff.
play that one more.
Your number 18.
Okay, so my number 18 is it was on my top 10 games of 2024 list.
Okay.
It is a game that is replacing a game almost exactly, actually. I think it's in the same spot that the previous game was in on my top 20 list.
Sure.
It is a worker placement. It's a tableau builder.
Sure.
You are getting more powerful actions as you go through the game. You have your tableau is going to give you a lot of instant actions. It's not going to give you worker placement spots, but it's going to give you a lot of advantages. There's a lot of creatures in this game. You love this game. I can't find a copy, so we need to play it again.
Yeah, Wondrous Creatures.
Wondrous Creatures, yes. Wondrous Creatures is so good, and it's replacing Everdell on my list. Everdell has always been a great game, but Wondrous Creatures is a little bit snappier. I find it's a little bit faster. There's a lot more going on, I feel like. The resources aren't as tight, which in this game I enjoy more.
Yeah. They're different too, because resources
Yes.
aren't just
Yeah.
resources, they're also like cards.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a little
yeah.
different, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Great
Wondrous
game.
Creatures is amazing. All the praise that everybody's giving it is incredibly warranted.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. It's super fun.
It's like the Everdell killer, man. It's just
Yeah, no, it really is.
Why
It
would
really
you?
is. It's basically just a better version of Everdell, and it doesn't have that annoying
Yeah.
tree.
yeah, no tree. Screw the tree. Don't
Yeah,
use if
yeah.
you play Everdell, don't use the tree.
Unless
Unless you're playing
the
at 2
tree.
players,
Yeah.
then it's acceptable.
Yeah, it's okay at 2 players. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
My number 18
Yes, sir.
is down 8 spots.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was it's an engine build. No, it's not really an engine building. It's a route building, action selection. We'll call it like a city building kind of game.
Okay.
You're taking England through its industrialization era.
Okay.
It is this is gonna give away. It is
think I know
the
what it
best rated game of all time on Board
Yeah.
Game Geek.
Yeah.
And that game is
Brass Birmingham.
Brass Birmingham.
Yes. Fantastic game.
Fantastic game. I think that Nucleum has actually bumped Brass down a little bit.
Okay.
But I haven't played Nucleum enough for it to be
Higher on your list? Yeah.
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
better than Brass. I think they're different enough that they justify owning both. I
Yeah,
just think
fair.
I get
Yeah.
the same kind of experience that I'm looking for out of both of them.
Which do you find is the kind of like faster, snappier game. Like
Brass, no
Brass
doubt.
Brass is.
Yeah,
I
Nucleum's
figured.
definitely heavier. Brass is more like you're sitting down, you can pick up the game super fast, and the intricacies in the decision making, not the approach.
Yeah.
Whereas Nucleum's a bit harder to pick up, but has the exact same intricacy on the action selection.
Okay, cool.
There's just more going on.
Yeah.
It's like Nucleum feels like if Brass Birmingham got not only a new map, but also an expansion and an add-on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's great. Love
Yeah.
Brass.
It's the #1 game of all time right now. Like it's great.
I don't think there's anything to say about it that hasn't been said. Frankly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
We've
Brass.
talked about it a million times too.
Number 17.
Okay,
Jeffrey.
So number 17. So this is a game that just was shy of my top 20 last year.
Okay.
It is an area control game.
Cool.
And I think you're going to get it pretty quick. It is a game where you auction for your action selection for that round. It's mythological based. You're trying to control a bunch of islands. You're trying to build up your own personal kind of city-state and everything, or your own faction, build it up, get your economy going, and dominate across these islands.
You're auctioning for your actions.
You're auctioning for your actions. You're technically sacrificing to the gods. There's a legendary edition coming out this year, which I'm super excited for, and might jump this up even more.
I forget what it's called.
Cyclades.
Yeah,
Cyclades.
yeah.
This game is so cool.
I have that coming,
It's
by the
very
way.
unique. So do I. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cyclades is really, really cool. You're playing basically the battles between the city-states in ancient Greece with Greek mythology. You're going to be drafting different monsters that are going to have different effects and kind of either help you or mostly hinder your opponents from being able to do what they want to do.
Cool.
If you want to do anything in the ocean, you have to sacrifice to Poseidon, and you have to win that. Yeah, no, it's great. Like if you want to do stuff with your actual soldiers, you have to win the sacrifice and win the auction for Ares. You are trying to get gold, spend that gold in an efficient way, and it's an area control game with combat, but that's not really the focus. It will happen, but it's not a game where you're constantly battling back and forth. Really what you're going for is trying to win that auction and strategically, like even bluff on the actions that you want with your sacrifices to the various gods.
Sure.
The Legendary Edition is going to be completely modular, which I'm very excited for
I
because
really
the board's
like
going to be different
the
every
rest
time.
of the trilogy, so I hope I like it.
John, your number 17, sir.
17.
Yes.
My 17 is a simultaneous action selection game.
Okay.
It is worker placement, tableau building.
Okay.
It was also on my top games of 2024.
Okay.
Basically, you simultaneously decide where your workers are going to go. Everyone puts all their workers out, and then you have two options: either recall a worker or place one of the workers you've recalled. So each worker can be played twice, basically.
I think I know what this is.
When you recall them from the left side of the board, their strength is based on how many people are left. When you place them on the right side of the board, it's first come, first serve. So you're juggling, do you pull it earlier to get the bonus on the left side, or do you place them on the right side earlier to get the bonus on the right side
Okay.
before anyone else does? And that game is,
Biohack?
it is Biohack.
Okay. I haven't played this yet. I'm very excited to try it.
The tableau building comes in the form of you're doing all this in order to summon these biological creatures into your lab. As you summon them, some of them have abilities and bonuses, and basically they just make it, it's like an engine building game. They make it easier to do more. But yeah, game's great. It's another Uchiba Koya game.
Yep.
Beautifully designed,
It looks fantastic.
beautifully made.
Yeah.
Components are great. The gameplay is super smooth and really clever. I love that whole like pros and cons of pulling earlier and placing earlier and all that, like situationally.
It sounds so cool.
Chef's kiss.
Sounds so cool.
Yeah.
So well designed too. I
Yeah.
can't wait to try this. Okay,
Yeah.
good pick. Good pick. I'm
Biohack.
super excited for that.
And now you're on 16.
Yes, my number 16. Okay, so my number 16 was on my list last year. I believe it's fallen a little bit, but not much.
Okay.
This is a game that I love to play with. Shout out to Adam and Shayna. It's one of their favorite games ever. It is a drafting area control game where there's 3 ways to win.
I know what it is.
It is
Inish.
Inish.
Yeah.
Inish is great. Inish is a game that you are basically going back and forth, trying to draft different cards that have all kinds of different effects, placing different troops on the board, trying to have like an election. You're trying to become the Bran and everything and be the ruler. The Bran. And it's so cool. There's 3 different ways to win. Having control of a certain number of territories, being in the locations with different like temples and stuff like that. And this game is just very fast. You can actually win or lose on the first round.
100%.
And it's different every time you play it. You're playing with modular tiles. You pull them out differently. You add tiles as you go throughout the game. And it's just fantastic. The artwork is absolutely amazing.
People who love
So
this
good.
game say it's like the best game.
Yes,
It's
yes.
like you either love it or you hate it. There's
Yeah.
no in between.
Yeah.
I didn't like it the first time I played it viscerally, and then I liked it.
Yeah, it's
this
growing
is probably
on
the
you.
biggest
Yeah.
riser on my list. It's not on my list, full disclosure.
Okay, fair.
But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like 120 or something last year, and now it's probably like 50.
Oh, really?
It's a
Okay.
pretty big
Yeah,
jump.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
nice.
Mr. John, what is your number 16, sir?
My number 16 is the first game that has risen on my list.
Okay, okay.
This is a hand management. We'll call it worker management. It's not worker placement game, where you are in Victorian England
Okay.
and you are attempting to court the Fairchilds, the hottest people in England,
Interesting.
by holding events that earn you both money and reputation and
Yes.
rebuild your reputation as one of the houses in England.
Yes.
And that game is
Obsession.
it is Obsession.
Yes, this is a very good worker placement
Obsession
game.
is crazy. Obsession is so good.
Yeah.
The expansion upstairs downstairs is also phenomenal. I haven't gotten to play with Wessex yet, but it's just a house, I'm pretty sure, and some tiles. The way the game plays, where your workers kind of like cycle, so you have to plan ahead before you do events, is really cool. I also love that the game isn't perfectly telegraphed. Like there's quite a bit of randomness involved.
Yeah, there is.
In both
Yeah.
the missions you get and the
different
tiles
tiles that
that are
come out.
available to you and the cards you pull from the deck. But it has enough agency that you feel like you're controlling your own destiny. And plus,
Yes.
you don't have to win to feel clever in this game. There's a lot going
Yeah,
on
definitely.
that makes you
Yeah.
feel good.
Yes.
It's just one of those games that just always hits. I find that
Yeah, Obsession
even
is
though
fantastic.
people are super reluctant to play it at first because they don't like the theme,
I
once
hated
they
the theme.
do play it, they're like, "Oh, this is really cool." It's like let's have a tea party and do it
I
again.
thought I was going. I wanted to go pinkies up after playing this for the first time, and
Yeah.
I thought I was going to hate it. This is one of my most surprising games for liking it. I didn't think I was going to. I
Yeah.
didn't at all. It's great.
Yeah, it's Kayenta Games killed it. It's a passion project. The rule book needs a lot of work, but the game's phenomenal. Obsession.
Fair.
15.
15. Okay, so my number 15 is a Western themed game.
Yeah.
It's a sandbox game.
Yeah.
You can do a little bit of everything from rustling to being a sheriff, having gunfights,
Yeah.
mining for gold, etc. And that game is
Western Legend.
Western Legend. So it's a little
it's a
bit
good
higher
pick.
on my list still. It's come down a little bit, I believe, but it's so good. It's so much fun. Like it's
amazing.
It's one of my favorite open world sandbox games. I'm interested in trying Bantam West. I have that. We haven't tried that yet. So we'll see what happens with it once that comes into play. But Western Legends is absolutely fantastic. It's very approachable. It's easy to get going. You're going to be doing gunfights with the different cards you're playing, like different poker cards. You can go and play poker. You can go to the saloon and spend a ton of money and become more
100%.
famous and tell tales about yourself and date a lot of people who work there,
Spend
etc.
money.
Spend lots of money. It's it's a fantastic game. John already talked about it in your 30 to 21. It's fantastic.
I did.
Western Legends. It's my favorite Western style game, and one of my favorite open world games. Yeah, it's
call.
great. Absolutely fantastic.
I like it.
Cool. All right, Mr. John,
15.
your turn. Number 15.
My number 15 is the first of one of my favorite genres of games, which is 4Xs.
Yep.
It is the fastest 4X I own that I would play. Kind of like a track, progressing along a track engine builder where the whole point is to take over more locations, to build more buildings, to move yourself further along tracks, to have stronger actions.
Okay.
Combat in the game is really unique in that it's like you're playing cards against an opponent based on combinations of units, which I find really slick.
I think I know what this is.
And that game is
Fractal?
Fractal. being the
Okay,
point.
nice. Cool.
Fractal is a really cool take on 4X. As opposed to your generic, like how you score, the game works in a way where it gives you objectives, and then the better you complete those objectives is how you score. It kind of forces everyone in a very generally open, sandboxy kind of world to focus on very specific stuff and fight over specific things.
Yeah.
It kind of creates tension against specific objectives. The production is stunning. The way you explore and you run into like a little bit of randomness on like what are you dealing with on XYZ tile is really cool.
Yeah.
But not as punishing as Eclipse, where like a tile could literally nuke your game if you run into the wrong tile at the wrong time.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
this is a game that I so far have really sucked at, and I want to play it again. I want to get this under my belt better, and I think it's going to rise for me. Definitely.
I also want to add the setup time
Fractals
is really
looks cool.
massive appeal to Fractal. You can set it up and get playing in like half an hour.
That's true. That's
and the
very
teach
true.
isn't crazy either. There's only like 5 actions or so you can even do.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, good pick. I'm looking forward to playing it again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. 14. All right, number 14. Okay, so this is, and John's gonna know this pretty quick, I believe, but this is my favorite real-time game.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, this game involves you are kind of like space marines, and you're trying to either defend a base or get into a crashed site, and you have these
Hold
portals.
on, let's not get Simon in trouble. It's not Space Marines.
Well, it's not space marines, but they're marines who go into
Who
space.
are in space, yes.
These different characters who have different asymmetries to them and everything. But essentially, different portals are opening up, and there's an onslaught of aliens constantly coming at you. You hit a timer, you're rolling dice like absolutely
Terran
crazy.
versus Zerg in real
and
time.
that game is?
Project Elite.
Yes. Project Elite is fantastic. It's so much fun. This is a game you're either going to love or hate. It's very stressful because you have a 2-minute timer. You are rolling dice as fast as you can, because the more dice you roll, the faster you get those actions out, the more you're going to be able to do. And this is a very tough game. You're going to have like boss monsters coming at you. And if one single alien gets to your starting spawn, you lose.
It's like tower defense, but you can move and roll dice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is a great
I don't
game.
mind it. I think the issue I had with it is that at too many people, it just gets way too hectic.
Yeah, I think you played it when we had 4 people. I
Way too
find
much.
2 or 3 is the sweet spot for this.
Fair enough.
It's so much fun.
I didn't mind it at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it.
But just like a little bit of anxiety-inducing onslaught coming at you, dice chucking like insane, like fun. It's
100%.
great. Project Elite is amazing. All right, sir. Your number
14.
All right.
My number 14 is a worker placement tableau building game.
Okay.
It is a game where you're constantly choosing if you want to build up your resources and gain additional components to do stuff, or if you want to get cards and give yourself more options.
Okay.
It is a first race to complete objectives on a hex-based map, where you are placing animals and taking resources around the animals you've placed. And that game is
Wondrous Creatures.
It is Wondrous Creatures. This is like, it replaced Everdell for me completely.
Yes. Yeah,
It's just Everdell, but better.
Yeah.
And I know I say that having the Everdell big box like right here somewhere. Like it's like there. But you know, Everdell has its place,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. But Wondrous Creatures captures the base Everdell experience a little better. It also does something I wish Everdell did initially, which is introduce a bit of asymmetry to the game,
Yes.
which Everdell doesn't really have. It also
100%.
fixes the problem of you're not like dumpster diving in the deck for cards,
Yes.
like you are in Everdell, which I
Yeah.
really don't like about that game.
Yep.
I find New Leaf helps that problem, which is why it's my favorite expansion. But anyway, Wondrous Creatures. Everdell did drop. We'll do a video outlining what fell out of our top 30 and why.
Yeah. The changes
so
and
I'll
everything.
get there
Yeah.
later. But yeah, Wondrous Creatures. Phenomenal.
Cool. Yeah, it's fantastic. I completely agree with you.
Number 13, sir.
Okay, number 13. Okay, so this is a new addition to my list for sure. And I'm kind of cheating here because I'm kind of placing 2 in here, but I'm going to pick one of them. This game is based on one of my favorite game and lore and all kinds of stuff franchises ever.
Okay.
It is an area control game. There's lots of asymmetry to this. It's kind of a 3X. And you are battling over different planets and dominance in the grim dark of the future.
Yeah, it's Forbidden Stars.
Yes, Forbidden Stars. Yeah, Forbidden Stars, you're basically playing in the Warhammer 40K universe. This unfortunately is out of print, but hopefully somebody's going to take up the IP and like put this game out again.
The guy who designed it is not only making one, but
2
two
different
copies of Forbidden Stars again, and
yeah.
they're not themed like Forbidden Stars. So I'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited for it too.
This
I love Forbidden Stars.
This game is an older area control game, but when we brought this to the table, this was so much fun, especially if you like Warhammer.
Yeah, I was very salty, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, you were so salty, but it was great. It was great. Yeah, this is just, you're just going at each other, constantly fighting over this like solar system and everything, and it's just amazing. Area control, dice rolling, fantasticness.
Totally.
Like the
Yeah,
asymmetry
I like
is amazing in it as well.
I like Forbidden Stars a lot. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's
I'm
fantastic.
debating right now. They're doing a fan printing of the Galaxy in Flames fan expansion, which adds like 4 more factions and a box. thinking about it. It seems cool.
Do it.
Only complaint: game takes a bit too long.
It is a long game. I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
I mean, look, that probably gets mitigated the more you play it. We've only played this twice, so
100%.
Once or twice. I think just generally speaking, it needs a little more familiarity. Let's call it. The game's great.
If you love area control and you love asymmetry, this is an amazing game.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. John, your number 13.
My number 13 is up a spot.
Okay.
One spot.
Cool.
It is a worker placement. Also, not given credit for it, but also a ratcheting mechanism kind of game. You have to always move forward, can't move backwards, and you're kind of going in a circle.
Okay.
This is a game where you are wrangling cattle to take it to the capital city to sell said cattle. The version of game I prefer of this the most is the New Zealand variant, which adds like a northern. It's like a boat track. This is a deck building game, and it is
Great Western Trail, New Zealand.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's the best iteration of Great Western Trail. Cool. I love the options you have. It's kind of like a sandboxy worker placement ratcheting game in a way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I love how there's a lot of interaction between players, even though it's just worker placement and moving. You can put like tiles in places that people don't want to deal with them and make them pay in certain spots and stuff.
Yeah.
So unlike the first game, this game has a lot of branching strategies you can take that all kind of work, whereas the first game building is kind of optimal if you're able to do it first and get it ahead.
I've been playing it more and more online, and I find that's true, definitely.
So yeah, Great Western Trail, New Zealand.
Nice, great pick. It's a classic. 13. This is a game series that is growing on me the more I play it. So
totally.
Yeah, great. Everybody loves it. Okay, my number 12.
Yeah, number 12.
Number 12. Almost on this. Okay, so number 12. It's not really an area control. It's got a little bit of area control, area majority, asymmetry. You're in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where you are trying to gather resources out of the snow. You're competing with your opponents for control over different areas to be able to move through those areas, as well as to actually harvest from those different locations. There's a little bit of combat, but not very much at all. There are different levels to this. So this board actually is 3D.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. And that game is?
DEI, Divide et Impera.
Yes, this is a game that I have loved since I first played it. And I finally got my Kickstarter of this. And so I have the expansions now, and I'm really, really excited to try White Death, which adds in a lot more asymmetry to this game. But essentially, each faction has their own deck of cards. There's a lot of overlap with what there is, but each faction has a little bit more of something like movement or a little bit more of scrapping in terms of like actually harvesting resources. You've got drones that you're going to be controlling. You've got this open market that you're going to be buying. You're going to be gathering resources, spending those resources in this open market to get cards that also score you points when you buy them and also are generally more powerful. You're going to be fighting over control of different outposts and stuff. This is just a great area control game with a little bit of asymmetry. And yeah, I love it. I'm really excited to try out the expansions that come along with this game.
Agree.
Very excited for it. So,
yeah, I'm excited too.
All right, Mr. John, you're number 12.
My number 12 has dropped 7.
Okay.
So it was my number 5 last year.
Ooh, all right.
It is a action selection, tableau building resource management game.
Okay.
Your actions get stronger the longer you don't do them.
Okay.
You are building a zoo, and that game is
Ark Nova.
It is Ark Nova. Ark Nova is, there's not much I can say about it that hasn't been said. It's like Rast, it's in that kind of echelon.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. It is my favorite of that type of game.
Okay.
Like the really thinky, like action selection, like card management, tableau building, that genre. I also love that the difference in maps and like the asymmetric map abilities you get on like, the more complicated sides of the maps. And I love that you're working on 2 separate tracks, both making your zoo more attractive and increasing the ecological contribution.
Yeah, that's true.
The expansion makes the game way better, and there's a fan expansion that makes the game even better.
I haven't tried the fan
Prelude,
expansion.
that's on BGG. So check that out if you can. And yeah, that's my number 12, Ark Nova.
Number 12. They need to come out with a post-apocalyptic version of Ark Nova, and I will eat that.
How do you
eat that up? It is so good.
That's crazy. That's true. Yeah, Ark Nova with combat. That's post-apocalyptic and not Ark Nova. Okay, go ahead. What's your number 11?
Okay, my number 11 and the final one on this list is probably my favorite, or at least one of my favorite negotiation games. It's sci-fi themed. It is a deck builder.
Yeah.
And that game is
Moonrakers.
Moonrakers is so much fun. I just finally got my Titan edition, and I am so itching to break that thing open and play it. Moonrakers is absolutely fantastic. Basically, you're trying to go and complete these contracts and become the leader or the most notorious, prestigious Moonraker, which is this big faction of mercenaries out in the galaxy doing all kinds of missions for different people. And this game essentially relies on you recruiting your opponents to help you out, and essentially you have to come up with a deal of who's gonna get what. And if nobody wants to help you out with something, basically after the first few missions in the game, you're gonna fail it. So you have to make it enticing for them to actually join you. The only downside to this game is that it is a little bit king-makey, because when you get to those harder missions that score you a bunch of points and you get to the top of the track...
It's got the munchkin problem.
Yeah, a little bit. But you can still do it. It's just really, really hard.
Yeah, if you build your deck properly, you're trying to get to the point where you can do all this stuff by yourself.
100%.
Just start doing it.
But yeah, with the expansions that are in this, or you could kind of consider the modules a little bit, this game is absolutely great. They just came out with Moon Rollers, which is also a lot of fun. But yeah, Moonrakers, fantastic game. Love it. One of my favorite deck builders of all time. Cool. It's amazing. Yeah. All right, Mr. John, your number 11.
My number 11 is a recently reproduced game that I didn't get to try until last year, basically. It is a tile drafting, tile placement game where you're using dice to perform actions based on the results of those dice.
I think I know what this is.
And that game is...
Castles of Burgundy?
It is Castles of Burgundy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Castles of Burgundy is great. It's it's really breezy. It's easy to teach. There's a lot of different tiles, but the index it comes with on like what every tile is, it really helps.
Yes, it does.
And it feels like a whole bunch of point dopamine in a way. Like everything you do gives you points somehow. And whoever gets to do that the most tends to win. You also start being, as you get better at the game, you start being able to start hate drafting or picking things someone else might want that will still benefit you. There's a lot of dice mitigation, so it doesn't feel too random. I also much prefer when you get to roll dice than do something with the result and make a choice.
Yeah, that's true.
Making a choice, then rolling dice to get the result. I think it's a much better mechanism.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good way to put it, actually.
But yeah.
You also have your workers that mitigate your stuff.
Yeah, workers mitigate stuff. I like the idea of like you can take coins that build an engine but give you less points, but then you can use that engine to get other tiles, which then build your engine even faster. I like the whole you can choose to finish locations earlier, like zones, to get points earlier, or more points earlier. You can finish bigger zones later to get more points later, but like you have to finish the small ones early. That's cool. Yeah.
Castle Burgundy, fantastic game. Fantastic game. Yeah, it just fell short of my list, but play it more, it might rise again.
Well, if you're doing this with us, comment below. You're 20 to 11.
Yes.
We hope you enjoy this video. If you disagree with any of our takes, let us know we're idiots, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later. I'm Jeff.
See you later.